Hey everyone, it's Brian here with the Bigger, Better Biz channel where I equip you with the tools and know-how to grow that bigger, better small business. Today, I am here with Melissa. And Melissa, I want you to tell everybody, you have a really unique business. So tell everybody a little bit more about your business.
So we are a working alpaca ranch in the Midwest. We host, for the most part, our biggest business portion is farm stays, where they get to interact with the animals. We have our females are in our yard field. So we have 18 females with their babies that you can just walk out the door and interact with. You look out your window, you can see them, and you can see the other paddocks of other animals from the windows as well. And then we also host what we call our Alpaca picnic. And so those are for people who don't want to stay over, but they want to come for a couple of hours and just interact with the animals. They get to hand feed them all, learn a little bit about their stories. And then aside from that, we also do small gatherings and weddings.
What exactly, what's an alpaca for those who may not know what the heck that is?
So a lot of people think it's a bird. We've had a lot of questions about alpaca eggs, which is so funny, but they are a mammal. They are native to South America. They're from Peru or Chile. They grow a fiber that over many centuries, us as humans have made it where they retain that fiber instead of shedding it. So we can shave it and use it to make things, scarves and skirts, things like that, anything you can make out of wool, you can make out of alpaca better.
So I'm guessing you have like a whole wardrobe of alpaca stuff.
You would think, but I'm not a fiber artist.
Gotcha.
I just produce the animals that make the fiber, and somebody else does the rest. Those are two very distinct things, and some people try to do both, and I've given in. I can't do both.
But it's kind of cool because one of the things that I'm trying to teach people about is how you can create different revenue streams, right? So you have people, it sounds like you have three, when it comes to like tourism, three kinds of revenue streams: the overnights, the farm days, the picnics, and then the small events and weddings. And then you shear your alpacas and you sell that to someone that then produces clothing and such. Wow.
Yes.
Pretty cool. Now, since they're from South America, how do you keep them going in the winter?
So we shear them right at the end of winter, like the end of April, beginning of May, whenever it starts to warm up in the Midwest. And then they grow that fiber all year long. So by winter, they've got a nice thick wool coat on. They actually will die of heat stress before they'll die from cold. In South America, they'll go up into the mountains whenever it gets too warm. So they've got their own way to keep themselves cool there. And here in the middle of the summer, as they're building that fiber back up, we will spray down their bellies. Basically, however, the temperature you can keep their bellies will determine how well the animal is doing or how cool or warm. So if they're cold, they'll go into deep hay and just sit down and warm their bellies. And if they're hot, we spray down their bellies and that'll cool them.
That is so cool. There's actually a show on Netflix. I think it's called Mama Cucha. It's a cartoon from Peru, and my kids watch it, and there's an alpaca, and my kids are like, "Oh, I want to see one of those." So, hey, maybe we're going to come out to Missouri and come do a farm stay with you. That sounds pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So here's what I'm going to do. I know that we want to talk about a few things when it comes to Google My Business. And let me see here. I want to share my screen. Google Chrome. Now you should be seeing this page where it shows Green Meadows Alpaca Ranch, which is you, right?
Right.
Okay. So I see you're on Airbnb, which is cool. So where are you getting most of your bookings? Can you hear me?
We get most of our bookings from Airbnb.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, you froze for a minute.
Okay.
So yeah, most of our farm stay bookings come from Airbnb. We're also on Farm Stay USA and Yonder. The Farm Stay USA has been around for a while, but Yonder's a newer platform.
Okay.
So they're kind of building up, but it's not as busy as Airbnb. And then for tours, if they're local people, it's usually from Google or from Facebook. And then if it's people that are coming to the area to stay at an Airbnb, then Airbnb will automatically send them a list of experiences in the area. And so then they'll book with us as well.
Very cool. So you're double dipping there, which is great. But the one thing I know about, I love that you have the rooster in the background, by the way. This is like so Green Acres. I love it. So,
I could have done this outside and we could have had alpacas in the
oh my
background, but
God,
then the rooster is so loud.
all you need is Mr. Ed, a talking horse, and you're good to go. So the cool thing is obviously you're double dipping, you're showing up on those sites like Airbnb, those hospitality sites. But I know that when you show up on those, obviously they're taking a portion of your revenue
Yes,
too, right? Okay, so
that's
that's
correct.
where
Yeah.
we want to focus on Google and try to see how many more people you can drive in through
Right.
that.
And the other
Awesome.
thing is we've got like 160 or something reviews just for stays on
Mhm.
Airbnb, but we'd like to be able to have those on Google because I think we only have 12 reviews on Google, but we've
Yep.
hosted 460 people. So somewhere in there, we're losing people who aren't doing reviews either on Airbnb or on Google or on Facebook.
So let's start right there. I think you have a really good point. So one of the things that people have to understand, small business owners, you're getting a lot of reviews on Airbnb, but that's just one site. But if
Right.
someone's looking up your type of business or a farm stay or something like that, or alpacas, let's say, then they might be seeing Google, but they only see you have 12 reviews. They're like, are a lot of people going there? They start questioning. So
Right.
it's about having even reviews around the web. So those 400 plus people that you've hosted, do you have their contact information?
Um, with some work, I could probably contact them.
Okay, it's worth the work, because what I would do is say something like, hey, we really appreciate you coming out to Green Meadows Alpaca Ranch. We're trying to grow our business and share the love of our alpacas with everybody, but we need your help. And then you can ask them about, hey, can you do this where you leave us a review on Google and drive them to your Google My Business instead? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And we're just, too, that we're recording this. So I will send this to you. I'll post up on YouTube so that you have it. You can take notes, but don't feel like you have to scribble everything down. So that's number one. It's really the thing is the lowest hanging fruit you have. Those people have already rented from you. They've already given you fabulous reviews. If you can go grab their info, whether it's a phone number or an email, even if you have to call them and do a call campaign, it's worth it to grow your reviews.
Okay.
What you want to do, especially since you're in hospitality, we need to show more reviews than normal. People are looking at sites like Google My Business, Yelp, so on and so forth to get reviews, especially in hospitality. It's the number one that people look at. Number two would be restaurants, and number three would be senior care. So we want to make sure you're getting more reviews. My challenge to you, let's try to get up to 25 reviews on Google, and you can do that as fast as you want. Try to spread it out over a few weeks so that it doesn't look like you just bribed everyone for a review really quick.
Right. I worried
Google's good
about
about
that.
it. Yeah. There's kind of like, that's where there's an art and a science. The art is writing it and saying, we're a small business, family owned, we're trying to grow, you can help us. So you really kind of pulling at their heartstrings and making it an emotional ask. But the science of it is Google's not going to just blank out reviews like Yelp does. That's why everybody can't stand Yelp, because you get 5 reviews in a day, they just hide them all. Google will show them, but they're all date stamped. So of course we want to spread it out a little bit. That's where you can also say, hey, can you mention when you stayed? So if it was March of 2020 or 2019, can you mention that in your review? That way people can read it and say, oh yeah, they stayed there 2 years ago, but they still had an amazing experience and still left a review 2 years later. That's insane. Make sense?
Yes.
So shoot for 25. And then every month, what you want to do, try to grow another, for you, 3 to 5 reviews.
Okay.
Okay. So that way, what you're doing is two things. One, you're showing all of the potential guests that you're always having new business. You're always welcoming new guests. Number two, you're signaling to Google that you're active. So Google looks at, maybe you've come to one of the events where I talk about how Google works. And the search engine is looking at over 200 different factors, right? Or signals, as we call them. Well, with Google local SEO, it's looking at signals too. One of the big ones is reviews. And it's looking at obviously the number of reviews, the star rating, but then the frequency that you're getting reviews. So if you're getting 3 to 5, it's like an IV drip where you're dripping it just right, keeping the business healthy. Okay. So that's reviews, and definitely want to grow those. Now I'm going to just start from the top and let's go down.
Okay.
You have some cool photos here. So you have the goat, which is awesome. I love it. Are you taking these photos?
Yes, most of them are mine. The next one down is actually my daughter-in-law. She's a professional photographer, and my son. So is there a way to rearrange them to where the goat is not the,
You have to add more photos.
okay,
There's no rhyme or reason. I call this the business album. There's no rhyme or reason why one shows up above or below the other. Because
okay, I
like,
was wondering.
yeah, this is from September
It's not the
2020.
most recent. Yeah,
And then you have October 2020. It's more so when you get in, it could be that this one is getting a lot of views. People are clicking on it. Google just chose to show it that way. So the way that you
okay,
combat that, add a lot of new photos. So,
okay.
and it looks like you use like your iPhone and did portrait mode, which is awesome. I don't know if you did or not, but that looks so
I
cool how
did.
it's like, yep. So keep doing stuff like that. Go take, what you can do is take photos of each of the alpacas. And here's
Okay.
something that would be pretty cool. Do you know how to use Canva at all?
Actually, yes, I'm just learning it. I'm just
Awesome.
about to buy Pro, and yeah, just getting used to it right now.
So worth it. So worth it for the annual charge to buy Pro. Um, Take pictures of each of the alpacas and then almost make it like, remember those old trading cards that we had growing up, like the same kind of thing, but have their name on it so that everybody
Right.
can see
Well,
each alpaca.
right. We've had guests ask us if we would like feature an animal a week, and so I'm working on that, and that's something I can schedule out, like Facebook to release it later. So I'm
Yep.
working on that.
Yep. So take each
Kind of
one and
meet
that
the
would
animal. Yeah.
meet the animal. Exactly. Meet your alpacas. And that way people feel like, even though they're not going to be able to tell the difference, most likely, unless they have some unique thing, they're going to be like, oh, wow, that's Lucy. That's blah, blah, blah. So that would be pretty cool. And it gives you more photos that you can put up here, but you can also put in your emails if you do them. You can put on the website. You can also, like you said, share on social. So that's good content. The other thing I would love for you to do, let's scroll down. So it's a bunch of great pictures, nice sunset, cute dog. So we're seeing after they're sheared, some cool stuff here. I'd love to see videos.
Okay.
So a quick video on your iPhone can be magic, because this too, like if I'm a parent and let's say I'm one of those crazy parents that sold my house, rented an RV, and I'm taking my kids across the country. I want them to experience everything, right? Well, I'd love to see a video of what it's all about, how other people are experiencing alpacas. Now, maybe it might be kids, maybe not. It could be adults, but whatever. I want to see videos so that I can kind of like envision myself there,
Okay.
right? So even the picnic, I'd love a video of the picnic. I love a video of the overnights, of waking up in the morning and having breakfast and seeing the alpacas, things like that. All stuff that you can produce really easily with this bad boy right here. So do those, because those videos too, they're going to get you so much mileage on social as well. Facebook's going to reward you for uploading a video because it gets people, instead of them just seeing an image, pressing like, now they're pressing play. They're able to watch the video, but you're keeping them longer on Facebook, which means that
Mhm.
Facebook has more opportunity to show them more ads. So they're
Yeah.
more engaged. So all the social mediums are going to reward you for putting up videos. So,
All
okay,
except for Airbnb. They don't allow us to add photos of children.
that's okay. And that's okay. That's
even
fine.
even
And
if they're
even
professional photos and we have permission slips and such, they're not allowed.
they
So
don't
that
want to,
it is good to be able
yeah,
to put them elsewhere.
yep. And with those two, when you get kids, are you getting release to
Absolutely,
show them?
yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome,
yeah.
awesome, good.
This was
Good.
actually these kids here. It was a
Mhm.
planned photo shoot, so we just offered a free day for these kids to come, and as long as their
Smart.
parents allowed to do photos, then yeah.
Do the same thing this spring and do it again, and now have videos. If you know someone like a neighbor or a friend that has a drone, get the
Well, so we
drone in
do have a
there.
drone video on YouTube.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so we did we walked through the whole picnic, and then they edited it. It's got music with it. It's really awesome. But I don't know how to add it to the Google My Business.
So you're
Is
gonna
the
have to, depending on how long it is, you might have to clip it. And if
Okay,
your son, is it your son that's the photographer or your
yes,
daughter-in-law? Okay,
yeah,
just ask them to download the video. I'm sure they can, or else give them a video and have them clip it for you. Make it into like 30-second clips.
okay,
So they could just take that video, clip, 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 and then just pop it up. And that's
okay,
fine. But
very
Google
good.
My Business it might allow you to do 60 seconds. Sometimes it does, but it's
So
really they're shooting
it's
for
about
30 seconds.
4 minutes or something. I
Good.
think the
Then
whole
you have a
video is
lot of
about four
videos to post
minutes.
up. That's great,
All right,
because
good.
then you can add them to the album. So the difference is the business album stuff lives here and it doesn't go away. But then if we go back, and we look at, so I don't see, did you make posts at all? Have you made posts yet?
On Google, no.
Well,
No, I
you
haven't made any on the Google My Business. No.
okay, but you have the ability. I've never worked with a farm stay category. Do you have the ability to add posts?
I don't think oh no, I don't actually. So I
Because you're
don't have the ability.
hospitality. Because you're
Exactly.
hospitality.
And so
Yep.
that was a question that I had. So I'm
Yep.
not able to upload our logo photo.
Hmm.
I'm not able to edit our description
Yep.
because it's a hospitality.
Yep.
And so my question was, since we do have the hospitality aspect, but then we also have the picnics and weddings, and should I make a separate listing within, you know how you can sort of like a mall where you have many different businesses inside the
Yep.
same building? Should I make a separate listing for Green Meadows Alpaca Ranch and then just, pack a picnic or whatever, and that's within there?
So it's a really good question. I'll break it down. The answer is hospitality, because I've worked with like B&B B&B owners and innkeepers, and for
Right.
them hospitality always poses a problem, because basically Google says your hospitality, we're going to take away certain things. So
Yeah.
that's the sad reality of having hospitality listing on Google. um, to answer your question, you can set it up as, another business. The only thing is, since you're a residence located at 1113 Southwest 500th Road, you
Mhm.
may have an issue and may not be able to add a second business. Google really doesn't want two businesses under the same residential roof. They'll allow
Okay.
it if it's a commercial space. They'll allow people to add businesses. Like the best example I always use is real estate agents, because they pack 100 of them like a sardine can into one office, and they can do that.
Right. Right.
So I would say try. Um, the only Here's a couple issues I foresee if you try it. One, it won't work. Two, it might say that this is a competing listing and it might affect this one.
Okay.
So it's kind of
Would it
like,
be worth
if
it then to change our category? Because our category is farm stay hospitality. So would it
yep.
be worth it to take out the farm stay part and just put us as just a regular business? Because we also don't come up in searches. So if I just search alpacas in the Kansas City area, other alpaca ranches come up because they just have alpacas, but we don't. And I assume it's also because we're hospitality.
Very, very possible. Again, because you've been farm stay, how many years have you had this profile?
5 years. Five
Okay.
years.
So you can try changing the category. It may open you up to new things. They may also say, okay, you're in a verification period. That's where I don't want to advise you to do it, because if they say you're in a verification period, it might be a real pain in the butt to try to change it and get it verified as a new
Yeah.
category. You can try though.
Okay.
And since, the thing is, obviously, I will try to help you as best as I can. So if you do change it and there's an issue, I can always try on my end to help you.
Okay.
But it's up to you. It's
All
up to you.
right.
It's kind of like you're kind of beholden to the category, but not, you
Yeah,
can try to
and there's
change it.
not a
So
lot we can do. Like you said, we can't do posts. We can
yeah.
post pictures and people can leave reviews, but I can't even put my logo as our photo. And I don't know what the reason for that is.
You know what I'll do on my end? Let me investigate a little bit and I'll come back to you and see what we can do. But for
Okay.
right now, add a whole bunch of photos. Try using Canva, adding a bunch of photos, talking about that we have a picnic, because all those things end up on your website too, which is a Google My Business site that you have.
Right.
So as long as you add the photos, they will show up on the site. So that's a good thing too, where you can push your other services. Um, okay. So we're kind of handcuffed here, not a problem. Let me look at the reviews too. The one thing that I want to make sure of, and it looks like you responded to each one of them. Wonderful.
Yeah, I went to your class before and you said make sure you always respond, good or bad, respond. So we do.
And you have wonderful reviews, which is awesome. Here's what I want you to do too. So as the new reviews come in, you're saying thank you for all the fantastic pictures. Wonderful meeting you and your family. Next time consider coming back and doing this, or try to upsell them. Like if someone came for just a picnic, a pack a picnic, try to have them come back for the next thing. Hey, next time we hope that you'll come and stay with us for a weekend. There's so much more magic to be had. Something like
Okay.
that. Okay. The reason being, over 50% of people are reading your response to the review, right? So we want to see if someone's saying, wow, this person left 5 stars, they shared these awesome photos, and then now they're reading your response and they're seeing like, oh my God, I can stay there. I can bring my kids there for a weekend. They have a picnic if I just want to spend a day and set it up, or I have a special event. Wow. So now you're suggestively selling to them in the review, which is
Okay.
really good. These are great though. But on the next ones, when you grow up to 25, I definitely want you to try to upsell if you can. Questions, let's see. So questions, I actually cover this in a recent blueprint strategy session. So this is really good. When you log into your Google My Business dashboard, you see nothing about the questions and answers section.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen this part.
Yep. So this is why I definitely wanted to show you. So this is something that for some reason, it only lives on your profile, on your knowledge card. The whole thing is called a knowledge card. So it only lives in the search engine results page on the knowledge card. You won't see it in your dashboard. So what you're going to want to do is go here, click on see all questions. Is there a fee? Where's a good place to stay if I take my kids for the weekend? So these are questions that people asked, but they don't have answers yet. So you're going to want to go in, and you as the business owner can go in and click on answer and answer the question right there. Now, the cool thing you can do, I'm sure you get a lot of questions, do alpacas bite, blah, blah, blah. Are they friendly? Can I bring my little kids? So what you're going to want to do is actually you go on yourself. You're going to go here to ask a question. Now it's bringing me up. So I'm going to say, can I bring my toddlers? Are the alpacas friendly? Okay. See how when I type in alpacas friendly, the alpacas are so cute and friendly. It already starts showing a review that you got, which is crazy. I'm going to post this though. Now you're going to have, if I refresh, it will take a second, but you should have 3 questions in there now. Here we go. So now you have one from me, that one, and that one. You yourself can go on and click this ask a question button, and you can ask all the questions you get. You can ask all those frequently asked questions and answer them as the business owner. So you won't be, there's no penalty or anything, but this also helps you with SEO. So, am I able to stay over? What are the rates or whatever else? You just answer all those questions right there.
Okay, so to the question, is there a fee? Should I be detailed or just say yes? Because yes, there's a fee, but there's different fees for different, it depends.
So yes, there is a fee, but contact us and I'll figure out what you want to do, and we'll make sure that it works for you. Something like that. So yeah, answer those. And if you can drive people to contact you, good, because obviously you get them on the phone, you can share the magic, and then they're going to come. Right. So I would say for your questions and answers, try to do like your top 10 questions that you get. And then those will show up, and people who are looking, they're like, what is an alpaca ranch? What is an alpaca? That's a question. Answer it right there. Okay. So now we were talking a little bit about Yaya's alpaca farm, which is obviously a competitor of yours. So what I want to do is I want to jump over. I just can't see because this control panel's in the way. There we go. So here's the difference. They did a farm household tour instead of a farm stay.
Right. And they don't do stays.
They don't do stays.
The one reason I'd like to keep the farm stay on there is because we're right off the Katy Trail. So people come through here looking for a place to stay off the Katy Trail, and there's no place from Kansas City to Sedalia aside from us. So that's the one reason I want to keep the hospitality, the stay side on there. And like I said, he doesn't do stays. His is more like a
just come and pet like a petting zoo
kind of thing. The animals, it's a quick run through, blah 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 blah. There could be 100 other people there, it could be 5 other people there, and we only do private. Gotcha. So yeah, and that's why it also won't let me list my hours.
Gotcha. And that's going to be the difference. Since you're a stay, it's almost like you should be more true to being a farm stay, and then answer all that information with the questions and your photos and things like that. And then it's more of like using YouTube, which you had mentioned, and doing that kind of stuff so that people can see that what you offer. I think that's probably your best bet.
Is there a way to link a YouTube video on my Google My Business?
Great question. I get it all the time, but no, Google rolls out each thing independently. So you're not going to attach your analytics to your Google My Business nor your YouTube. So instead, it's one of those things where you can, again, for you, since it's limited, put up a photo and say, view more. You can also, we'll check out your website in a second. You can probably add a link to YouTube or say, check out our videos here. But that's where use your resources, have your son go and clip the videos and at least put them in. And even if he can, bonus points, since you're his mom, put something like view more videos at YouTube, blah, 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 at our channel on top of the video. Okay, so we won't dive too much into Yaya's because it is different. Of course, I saw that they could buy tickets there. Depending on the category, they allow you to do that. Notice they
go ahead. I'm sorry. On his
go
buy
ahead.
tickets. So if they buy tickets through there, does that take them to say like Squarespace or something like that? Or does Google take a fee for buying tickets through that link?
So it's set up through
Oh, it goes to
Viator.
OpenHer. Oh,
Yep. So it's Viator that they're using for booking times. So that's what they're doing. And then Google basically has a partnership with Viator and they allow people to book tickets right through Google My Business.
okay.
That's what's happening. But let's look at great sample socks and hats. Are you selling any alpaca clothing?
No,
No,
just
nothing.
raw fiber.
Got it. Okay. Open all year round. So they see, even here, this is what you don't want to do. Yes, we are. Yes, we're open all year round. Come and check out X, Y, Z. We offer all these things, right?
The alpacas love the snow.
The alpacas love the snow. Exactly. Is there gravel to get to the farm? See, people have these questions. Yes, it is, but don't worry. You can drive through it. Any kind of car from sedan to an SUV can make it to our farm. Those are things that people are worried about. Okay, so his is obviously different. Let's just see how, or I don't know if it's a couple, a man, a female.
It's a man. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there you go. They're not answering the reviews. So right there, you're going to have a competitive advantage once you start answering the reviews. It's another signal to Google that you care about the experience. So that's good. So let's say goodbye to Yaya for now. Let's go to your website. So you built your website on Google My Business, which is great. And that way
and I don't like this. I can't change that where the farm stay and tour drops down.
Right.
See, it doesn't really flow right there. Yeah.
You mean because it's 2 lines?
Yeah, I don't like that. Every time I look at it, it irritates me. I want to drop that farm stay and tour under, like Green Meadows Alpaca Ranch is the header and the rest drops. Yeah.
It's because it's the name of your business, because it's taking the name of your business right there. So
I see.
That's the good and the bad. You're getting a free site, but you're getting a free site. So it's there's no customizability. So we can't change that.
So if I do create another site that's going to give me more freedom and it has tabs to purchase from and things like that, can I link that on here?
So what happened was, you just said, I created my Google My Business profile, published the website. It takes all your information, puts it in. All you would do is go to Google My Business and unpublish your website. And then you can add in a link to your newly built website. And you had mentioned Squarespace. My recommendation for you is Squarespace. We've worked with every single one under the sun. We've had the most success with Squarespace. Great team, good product. Our site's built on Squarespace. It's really easy to do. It's drag and drop, and it's like $12 a month if you pay annually.
Okay.
So you're going to be paying for the hosting. You're going to have to buy a domain name, but it's worth it. Okay, so we've got the picture of the alpacas. Wonderful. It goes right into your testimonials. So this again is why we want to have new testimonials all the time, because people are like 6 months ago, 5 months, what happened? Did they stop? So
especially right now during COVID, because people think, are you open? And
there's a question. Are you open during COVID? Yes. And we're practicing social distancing and all those things. Okay. About us. So they won't let you change that, right? When you go into the website?
Actually, so I did write that. I just haven't ever really thrown it all in there. I was going to eventually copy and paste from our Airbnb description, because it's very, but also we have, I just posted on Parker and Dewey, we're going to have somebody write our story for us. Okay. So I'm just not a storyteller.
That's fine.
So
That's fine.
I plan to plug that in there too.
So what I would recommend today, go and copy the Airbnb description, pop it in there for now. And because you just need a little bit more than that, right? To welcome people. And then when you have the story told, pop it in. and you'll be good. But for me, I love, one thing that we've really evolved into as a marketing agency is becoming storytellers and just appreciating story, because it's generational. Everybody tells stories. It's a ritual. So if I can hear a story about why you started, why you love alpacas, why you want to share them with everyone else, it makes me want to come there and get in that experience and really share with you that passion. So then we've got you there. Awesome. We have a wedding shot. So of course, the more photos, for some reason, this photo is not showing. And it's the goat probably. I don't know why. Really weird, but it's not showing. So it's just more of a reason why we want to just add in a bunch of photos and drop these down. The other thing is, so
there it is. Maybe it's a double. Is that why?
It could be. It could very well be. I've never seen that. To tell you the truth, I don't work on Google My Business websites that much because it's just like so simple and easy and they don't give you any flexibility. But what I would do is, as the sun's coming out, as we're thawing out and everything, show pictures of spring and summer, and then do it cyclically. So do it seasonality. You're right. So we want to start showing fall and then winter as the time comes, so that we can set the scene. Contact us. You're in the middle of nowhere. So there you go, right there. Perfect. Call now. The one thing that I did notice is get quote. You can change this, I believe, on the website too. So you'll want to change this to contact us, right?
Okay.
It's going to lead to the same thing. It's going to do that, but getting a quote, people can be like, why do I want to get a quote for a ranch? Unless,
I gotcha.
right? Yep. So just call to action. We want to change. And I mean that we're at 30 minutes. So that's it. Is there any other burning question you have before we end the session?
So is there a way to use tags? So like, on, when you're listing at different places, you can say alpaca, alpacas, farm, stay, is there a way to add tags where if somebody is Googling, so if I put into just regular Google, if I do alpaca, Kansas City, we come up. If I put in alpacas, Kansas City, we don't. Yeah, it's going to be first. But then if you go to click maps,
you're in the top.
No, we're not in the top. Oh, well, so you're going to have to then zoom in there.
So notice right now I'm in Florida, right? So I had to type in Alpaca, Kansas City, because you are right there in the epicenter. You're going to show up because it's also bringing in proximity. So even though I typed in Kansas City, where would you be? Northeast?
Here, so Yaya's is down here to the right. We're kind of up a little and to the right. Where did Yaya go?
I know.
Too far.
Zoom out.
Now go south. Okay, see where it says Long Jack and lower?
Yep.
We're most down there. So that's Alpaca Wheaton. But
search this area.
Actually, I use a VPN, so mine doesn't.
Oh, so you shouldn't. Okay. Yeah. So for some reason, you're right around here.
So where Sunflower Hills is, right there. Yep. Yeah, exactly. That's where we're at. We are.
Green Meadows. There you go. So it's because hospitality again.
Okay.
Because notice how it has the bed and it showed up when I zoomed in, but these ones are showing as like a destination, a place to go. So they're going to show up on the map. That's the kind of the bad part about this. My hypothesis here is that as you start growing more reviews, Yaya's is going to show up because they have 331 reviews. Right. So as you get your review game.
Is that why their pinpoint is larger also, or is that, does he pay for being
I just clicked on it. I just clicked on it. So it's,
I gotcha.
Yep. It's got to be normal, but when you select it, it gets bigger. No, nobody's. So this too is where you could start considering buying ads. Now here's what I would do. First off, I would consider building your own site. Reason being, you're going to get more SEO juice.
Right.
Yaya's, when I go to Yaya's, let's go to their website.
He uses Open Herd, which is what we're going to use also. But
Okay.
you buy the domain name, and then if you go down, it's powered by Open Herd.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then that way we can list all of our animals that we have individually, and it has a lot of flexibility. And there's
And
lots of different plans to choose from.
there you go. So, I mean, it's made especially for what you guys do, which is great.
Yeah.
The cool thing is looking at them, they haven't posted on their blog since 2017. So there's a lot of opportunities for you right away to blow Yaya out of the water.
Okay.
More reviews, more frequently, building the site and having it all up, building out, writing out everything, mentioning Alpaca again and again, mentioning that you have the different services you offer. Those things are going to be big. Taking the video that you have with all of that, embedding it on your site, which is going to be a big thing too. So there's definitely ways. What I would say is, number one, build your website on Open Herd. Perfect. Number two, what you want to do is obviously get your reviews, keep doing that, add up all the photos, build the foundation of your Google My Business really strong. And then number three, I would consider throwing in some budget for Google ads. And when I say that, so with ads, let's say you say, I'm going to put in, it's tourist season, right? So maybe you're going to do a budget of $100 a month, right? Or $50 a month. It doesn't mean you spend $50 or $100 a month. You're only spending if someone clicks or calls from that ad. So you want to make it
by that, because I wasn't sure what the cost,
and you're like, I'm just dumping $100 a month. And yeah, it's not
right,
that.
yeah.
So it's only if someone saw your ad. Now, if you buy an ad, then you have a chance too of when we go back and we look at the maps. Let's go back here to Yaya. Let's do Alpaca. So if you have an ad, you also have the chance of showing up at the top. It will say ad, but it will show you. None of your competitors are doing this right now. So as far as I can see, so huge competitive advantage buying an ad. And then if people click on it, fine, you're going to pay for it. That's, and that's the cost of doing business. But as I look at it, when we do ads too, it's an investment. It's definitely an investment. So I would say, especially with tourist season, do $100 or even more if you can. If you can do that, if you can afford to pay $150 a month just for advertising, doesn't mean you're going to spend all that much, but do it. Whatever your resistance to risk is, go within that in your safety zone. But I would do the ad once you have it.
Do you set it up as this is every month, or can you just run it for 1 month or one season?
You can, you can run it, and then you can pause it at any time. You can cancel it at any time. It just, it kind of goes month to month and it resets on the next month. So,
and you set a max budget, then I assume. So you tell Google, the most I'm going to spend on this is $150, and it just maxes out. Okay.
And Google will take that and average it over the month. So basically it'll say, okay, $5 a day. So what Google does is it won't spend $150 in a day. It will say, okay, hey, today, wow, it's getting a lot of clicks. We're going to actually increase the budget just for today by 20%. So we'll go up to $6, right?
Okay.
But then the next day, it might only allow up to $4 so that it averages out at $5 a day.
Right.
Yeah. Helpful?
Yes, very much so. Yeah, because we get the cards in the mail all the time, use Google Ads and here's $100. And I'm like, gosh, if they're giving me $100, then how much could that possibly cost?
Oh, definitely take one of those codes. I used to have stacks upon stacks of those cards when I was presenting, and I would hand them out. And then I would go to my clients and be like, here, it's raining ads. But if you have one of those, use it. Use the matching so that you get the free $100. And it doesn't mean you have to spend $100. It's just that you're putting out $100 for your budget.
Okay. I'll make my improvements first.
Yep. The thing that I always say is, right now, if we were to look at it, you're on a foundation of sand. And if you built a tower, it's going to topple over. If we can strengthen some of those fundamentals, you're going to make it concrete. And then you build on that, and then you start paying for ads and those other things.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. I think we covered everything I wanted to cover then. Yeah, I think that's it.
Awesome.
I appreciate your time. This has been
my absolute pleasure. I love doing this. The reason why I do this, actually, I was thinking about it this weekend. My dad had a bike shop, And growing up, like my dad was working his butt off. He was traveling to China 5 or 6 months out of the year. Like we weren't seeing him because he was always gone. And we didn't have FaceTime and all that. We had like 2-minute phone calls because it cost $20 a minute. So when he'd come home, he was fixing bikes in the garage. And I would always go out and I'd help him fix the bikes and I'd wash the bikes and then I'd take $1 out of the cash box, which had like no money in it anyways. But he was trying to like just, it was a means to an end. But I always think back, and I was thinking about it today when I was with my family, we were celebrating my wife's birthday. And, I got to rent an Airbnb in Florida and take them there. We were swimming and all that stuff. And I thought, man, if someone was there just to help my dad, just like step it up just a notch to help him figure out how to make the bike shop into a brick and mortar place. And then, maybe we could have had those experiences. So that's why I love doing this. So I'm glad that you got value out of it. I really am.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate somebody else who's doing things that they love, because this is whenever, COVID first started and they said, stay home, lock down. I was like, yep, I'm okay with that. This is exactly where I want to be. So it's awesome to hear somebody else who loves what they do. That's awesome.
I do every single day. So
That's
thanks for the opportunity to help you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. We'll meet again.
Sounds good. And I'm going to see you tomorrow on the event.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Awesome. Okay.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Have a great one. I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. You too.